Destiny has arrived. Boom, boom, boom. You're watching the Weekly Wednesday What's Up, the section of my channel where I tell you everything that's going on in my life in 1 week, as we are actually editing some Avatar right now. Avatar, The Last Airbender. And I'm so happy because Fumiya, whatever, hot girl on Instagram, got her new book. She sent me her new book, Boobs, Boobs, Boobs. Yeah. This is called Wrap the Boobs, Volume 2. Kind of glad I only got, they only sent me Volume 2 because I'm a big fan of her boobs. And it's an interesting situation because it's something I definitely am thinking about doing a standalone video on, in terms of talking about how picture books, I think it's I haven't done a Japanese video in a very, very long time, and I think it stands to be interesting to just explain about picture books and how it's actually not even I personally, I don't find it that sexual, or it's a bit fetishy, but it's just this weird idea. There's no nudity or anything, but it amazes me that things like this sell for $20 upwards, and people are big fans of just pictures. This is obviously, this one's a little more scantily, but there's other ones that are just really just people doing it. And anyways, people walking around, are people in business suits. It's kind of weird how the way picture books, how they're so popular. I want to take my new camera and become a photographer out here. I'm not even joking, for reals, dude. Photographers get some of the best poon. That's what I'm talking about. On a side note, sometimes for cosplay and stuff, they usually take a really, if they want to make water effects or something, or a splash type of effect, they'll get a really big dude to jump into a cannonball, and that makes the splash effect. Anyways, side note. So Avengers were about 1 week removed or so since it all went crazy. And Avengers making over $1 billion and shit. That's what I'm talking about. All that money. Or it should make $1 billion by this week, for reals. Perhaps I should give them just a little bit more of all this ad revenue. No, I'm just kidding. You want to know realistically ad revenue? That's ad revenue. Fuck, man. I'm not even kidding. Even PewDiePie was talking about the other day about how he makes more money selling his Russian hats than he does through ad revenue nowadays. YouTube has really, really fucked everybody up. It's no joke, man. And it sucks because most fans of YouTubers really don't realize how bad it is, and most YouTubers can't stand. Most YouTubers can't leave YouTube, obviously, because there's no other type of alternative, but they just have to keep on working on YouTube and do other stuff. It's fairly interesting how that works. I know I'm doing way better on Patreon nowadays than YouTube, but I still need to I have to work twice as hard now with YouTube, which is crazy. Same thing with Ecomog, a few other people. It's just it just doesn't stand to do it anymore. And I mean, let's be honest, being creative, the whole idea of being creative now is the idea has been lost on YouTube for many, many years now. But if there was ever a time in terms of being rewarded for being creative, it's very high and near, and it's all about timing as well. People don't really actually click on a video on YouTube anymore to see something creative. That was back in the days when if somebody made a creative video, it would start to go viral on MySpace, on Facebook, or what have you not, right? But nowadays, it just gets so lost in churning out the next video and the next video and the next video. Like, it just doesn't stand to make that. Only a few people can survive through that, like How It Should Have Ended, or what's another animation thing I'm thinking about? But most animators, that's why most animators left YouTube, because they can't survive on this kind of content producing thing, and that's why a lot of stuff has shut down, or people have kicked back a little bit less. Like, if you've noticed, and for those of you that watch almost all my videos, if you notice, I don't do the end caps anymore, and I don't, like, every once in a while I'll put in a special intro or something like that, just because I think it'll be cool. But for the most part, I've had to reduce the Q&A in the comment section and talking about stuff. Like, I used to do a lot of pop-up stuff because it just doesn't make much more of any sense anymore, because we're actually not really making as much money as we used to, and it doesn't even cover, like, for example, minimum wage, even minimum wage at this point. Flash is a very good example about that. Whatever happened with that show, I don't know, but I spent so much money on the advertising, commercials, trying to boost the audience, but when it really came down to it, I realized that the audience interest is not there with the show anymore, and thus they're not really there with hearing what I have to say about it as much anymore, because they kind of gave up on the show. And subsequently they give up on the reviews and reactions and such. So it didn't make much of any more sense for me to keep paying editors to do it, or for me to even do it on my days off. And if they don't really fix things, for next season, then you can't expect me to come back. I'd rather focus on something else that will be more interesting for everybody. Lots of people have been asking me about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Westworld, Legion, like really shows that maybe deserve more attention than they're getting. Flash used to be that show, but for whatever reason, the writers don't think it's worthwhile anymore, or they just don't have it anymore, and the ratings have gone down. And there's a good video about this. Somebody was saying where when the CW shows first started, like Arrow and some of those other shows, they started at a time when there weren't as many shows to watch. Like, for example, really think about it, everything that is on now, the Netflix shows, the Hulu shows, the Amazon Prime, all that shit now that's going on. Runaways, Cloak and Dagger. People just, and I told you, people thought I was crazy about this back in the day, years ago, when I said that there's too many shows to keep up with nowadays. And people are like, there's an overexhaustion of superhero shows on TV now. People thought I was crazy saying that back when Daredevil or Luke Cage was coming out, but there really is. People just don't have time to, possibly, unless you're DC son, sit around and watch those shows all day, or watch all these shows. And that's one thing. Watching them is one thing, okay? But setting up, recording, making sure you add some extra worthwhile content, then the biggest one is the editing point. That's where it gets very difficult to really get into that. And I'm sure I probably would enjoy Flash a lot more if I wasn't doing reactions, if I wasn't really on the spot with a camera in my face, needing to be entertaining. So it's an interesting thing the way that goes. It kind of goes both ways. If I really miss Rift TV, man. At least with Rift TV, you get it down there, the reactions in there, people can watch it if they want. And man, I hope something like that comes back, because at this point, you can only pick as many shows as possible. But at least we got My Hero Academia. I love that fucking show, man. And Shingeki no Kyojin's coming back soon in time. By next year, Game of Thrones will come back. But anyways, I just wanted to tell you guys that's what's going on in my mind right now. That's what's happening this week. That's what I've been thinking about. I've had to just really think to myself, be like, Aka, don't put as much time into the videos as because you really just, it doesn't make any more sense anymore. Like, because especially the more creative I get, usually the more copyrighted that shit gets, Avatar. And for example, the Ant-Man video that I did, those few seconds of that song, of the Arab Money song I'm using, they've made all the money from that fucking video because they copyrighted that video. They claimed that video. And I'm in a tough position because it's kind of like, it's the only song at the moment that I really thought that would match, like the idea of like making that money. And so then I put it up there. I'm like, well, you know, it's under 10 seconds, like 15 seconds, copyright the whole thing. And I'm in a rough position because I can't delete. I could delete the video and re-upload it like that. Then I lose all the views, right? But then it like, you know, I see that a lot, and I see that song is fairly indicative to what people are really enjoying it. They're really liking it. They're like, oh shit, this is great. So it's kind of a trade-off, right? I tried to remove the song, but it ended up removing all the audio from the video. So it's one of those things of like, damn, man. Now if I had a little bit more time, I would do a cover song of it instead. Black Widow, Spider-Man, oh yeah, Feige, Kevin Feige, something like that, right? We making Marvel money. We making Marvel money. I might just do that. But my point is, not knowing what gets copyrighted, what's not. We can be more creative, but since it's all about timing, it's a hard call, right? It's a very hard call, but who knows what happens? YouTube's changing every goddamn day, the face of it. But I'm just gonna finish my work today and get God of War done. I'm so in love with that show, or that game right now, and I can't wait to get back to it. I knew it. It's Golden Week right now in Japan, so I have like 4 or 5 days off, which is great. I should clean up the house, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow, and I'm gonna get back to Golden Week, to God of War later tonight, and try to stream it with all of you guys as much as possible. All right. Hope you all are enjoying the videos, and I will try to get the Avengers review as well done. That's a whole nother thing, the review stuff. I generally end up not doing the reviews because I have an idea of how I want to do it. I wrote up a Black Panther review. I wrote it up months ago, and all I have to do is read it off, but it's just a thing of like cutting it, editing it, and it's like by the time it's gonna go up there, it's kind of like probably somebody will fucking claim it or whatever. But then it's kind of like, do I want to just do a straight talk through like this, right? Or Black Lightning, which is probably going to be up by the time this goes up. But then it looks lazy, right? It looks really lazy. So it's oh man, it's a hard call. It's a really hard call. I could do a straight run through spoiler review, but I generally don't consider those like, they are kind of reviews, but they, without the cuts and taking time to really construct what you want to say, I don't know, they just, to me it looks more like vlogging or whatever. So I don't know. It's very interesting the landscape of the way videos change and content is created, and how people want to shit on the way some videos are created, and they don't want to call them creative, but yet they're fucking clicking them and watching them all the time and slurping them up. So it's like, you know, Gamer from Mars said it the best. It's like YouTube is creating this crazy treadmill for YouTubers, creators, to just keep on churning this shit out, and fuck the creativity, fuck the you know, like that, churning this shit out, and like that. I think you're only, how it should have ended. See, even Angry Joe, I've noticed he's had this problem as well. This is one of the biggest problems, changes that has happened with Angry Joe's channel, is that he's used to do a lot more creative reviews, but it doesn't pay out anymore. It doesn't pay out as well anymore. Buying costumes and all that stuff, that's really expensive. and it doesn't, with the algorithm changes and the AdSense changes, it just doesn't pay out as much anymore. And it's easier for him just to do his strange reactions. He puts the actual content, or the original content full screen, and wonders why he gets claimed and shit, or copyright struck. Oh boy. Alright, anyway, sorry about that. I ranted for just a bit. I was gonna put the whole thing with Loki and my friend Emma, the unicorn, together with it, with this video, but since it's like 15 minutes, I think I'm just gonna separate them, okay? Like, share, subscribe, and I will let you guys know what's up next week. Peace.